on Tea or Coffee this morning. My name is Omobolade Oladipo, and the conversation that we're having is a very special one to me. I've always wanted to know so much about this particular one. It is music copyright. If you are a musical enthusiast, if you're into music business, I think this one is for you. So sit back, relax, because we have a lot of nuggets to dish out and open up on Tea or Coffee this morning. My guest is no other person. In fact, my very special guest this morning is Kolade Ajayi, popularly known as Ron K. Kolade Ajayi is the managing director of Afro Music Pop and also the MD CEO of ITEL Distribution and ITEL Publishing. He's beautifully seated in the studio with me to have this conversation on music copyright. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
Very fine, thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
It's so nice to be here today.
It's so nice to have you. I'm so happy that we're talking music this morning, the musical business, especially music copyright. I have seen so many people not understand what it has to do with music copyright. In fact, I've seen so many people get into trouble. I'm talking about broadcast corporations. I'm talking about even musical artists, songwriters, and all of that. So for us to start the conversation, what exactly is music copyright, especially in the scene that we're in?
Thank you very much. Music copyright is the right that's given to any individual or corporation to use music, basically. So for every piece of music, there's a copyright that's associated to it, and then those copyrights need to be paid for. You get what I'm saying? So now, let me explain what I mean by music copyright. For every piece of music that is recorded, there are two types of copyrights that is embedded in them.
All right.
And anybody that wants to use those music must pay for the use of that copyright. Those two copyrights. Now, what are the two copyrights that exist? The first one is the underlying work, which is the song itself.
All right.
The songwriting, the lyrics, the melodies. That is what is called a song. Now, the song, whether it's recorded or not recorded, has a copyright that is attributed to it, and it's called song copyright. Some people also call it publishing copyright.
So that's the first one.
That's the first one.
Okay.
Now, the second one is when the song has been written and is now performed in a studio by a performer who is now the artist, right?
All right.
Now, the eventual product from the studio, after being mixed and mastered, is called a sound recording or a master. Now, there's a copyright that's also associated with that. It's called sound recording copyright or master's copyright.
Okay.
So for every piece of music that is recorded, there are two types. There is a song copyright and a sound recording copyright or master's copyright.
All right.
That's associated with it. So that's what it is.
Okay, so now I like that you actually started with breaking down the types of copyrights that, you know, an artist or a music body, a body of work has to have before it gets anywhere. But let's take it back a little bit. An artist sometimes does not perform a song. They may be the songwriter. They may also be the ones that perform their song. Sometimes it can be that they're only performing a song of work that somebody has already written out. So, and you've talked about remuneration in two different parts. How does that work? Because it seems a bit, you know, complicated. Yes. How does it work?
Okay, now, there's a body or a company that administers the copyright of the song.
All right.
Now they are called publishing companies. So they work with songwriters to manage their copyrights. Do you understand? Now, it is possible that the songwriter is also the performer or the artist.
All right.
It's also possible that you're a songwriter and you don't want to perform the song and you want to give the song to another artist to perform. it does not really matter who performs the song. The same right that exists on the song still exists for the songwriter and the publishing company. And how they're going to make money depends on the knowledge of the publishing company and how they're going to utilize that copyright the best way possible. Now, let's assume that as an artist and you're also the songwriter,
All right.
you might not even know the power you have
Interesting.
to make a lot of money from both the master and
The
song.
song. So, I mean,
Especially if you are also the one that owns the record label. You are the ones fronting for yourself. You are the one paying for all your recordings, your music videos. You're the one promoting yourself. There's no record label. So you have the master's rights. You also have
the song,
the song rights.
Interesting. So just for me to understand where we are at the moment, because this is like a learning curve for a lot of people watching at the moment. So if you own your own record label and you're both the writer and the performer of a particular song, it means that you have an avenue, an opportunity to actually make a lot from different parts. That is from,
From
publishing.
your song and from your sound recording.
Wow.
Yeah. It's very crazy. And funny enough, let me just break it down for you. I'm not going to talk about all the usage of music. Let's just talk about sales of music.
All right.
That's one usage of music.
Okay.
Now, today, in the digital world, people sell their music through streaming
Platforms.
and downloads, right?
Okay.
And there are so many platforms that are offering that. I can't name them now, but we all know the ones we're using.
The
right?
popular streaming
the popular
platforms.
Streaming platforms. Now, most of the time, because you cannot get your music on the streaming platform, you must use a third party to get your music to those platforms. They are called music distributors.
Okay.
Now, when you make money from your streaming and sales, the streaming platform pays the music distributor to pay you. Meanwhile, the one that they give the music distributor is only one usage right that is paid out of 4.
You have different. Okay.
So let me explain it now.
Yes, please.
Now, for sales of music, there are 2 rights or 2 licenses that needs to be paid for.
All right.
There's one that's called mechanical license, and the other one is called performance license.
All right.
Mechanical license is for reproduction of music works.
Okay.
And the performance is because you're going to listen to the song and the artist is performing the song when you're listening through any device. So there's a performance license that's also associated with your sales.
Okay.
So those 2 licenses are to be paid on the 2 different copyrights.
Interesting.
So there's supposed to be a mechanical license on your song copyright.
Okay.
There's supposed to be a performance license on your song copyright. And there's supposed to also be a mechanical license on your masters and also a performance license on your masters. So 4. Meanwhile, your music distributor is going to pay you only the mechanical for the masters, which is the highest.
Okay.
Out of the money, right? So you get paid the master's mechanical license.
Okay.
The remaining 3, they're not going to go through your music distributor. The problem now is, how do you get it? I can tell you for free today, more than 95% of artists in Africa don't even know that they have 3 of their licensing.
Not being paid for.
They are paid for, but they don't know how to collect it.
Well, it means that you're not being paid for.
They are paid for by the streaming services every time.
So who gets the money?
Correct. Now, these monies are paid to all the different bodies that manages mechanical licensing and performance licensing.
Oh, interesting.
Now, in every country, there's what you call performance rights organizations.
Okay.
And also mechanical rights
Organizations, all right.
In most countries, they are separate. I don't know whether I can talk about them.
Yes, please. Let's go.
Yeah. So in Nigeria, it's unclear who handles your performance for song copyright, your performance for master's copyright.
Okay.
Because they are different.
I thought we had a body that, sorts copyright when it has to do with the Nigerian music scene.
Yes, we have, but like I said, it has not been very clear what their rules are. You see, we have the COSON, and of course we have the MCSN.
Yes.
The problem is, I don't know whether COSON collects performance rights or performance licensing and mechanical licensing for songs alone, or they are collecting performance rights, mechanical rights for song, and also collecting performance rights for masters.
Okay.
Do you understand?
I understand, yeah.
Because in other countries, let me just use United Kingdom for example.
Okay.
You have the PRS,
Yes.
which handles the performance rights for songwriters and publishers.
Okay.
They have MCPS that handles mechanical rights for both song and masters. Mechanical licensing,
yes,
for both song copyright and master's copyright.
Yes.
And then they have PPL that handles performance rights for masters.
Interesting.
So every of those copyrights are broken down and handled by different collecting bodies. The same thing in the United States. They have all these things different. But you see, we don't know what MCSN handles when it comes to these rights. Are they focusing on song copyrights and collecting performance and mechanicals? Or they are combining also the master's rights for performances? We have no idea. As of today, when these streaming services, they pay all these monies, this performance licensing and the mechanical licensing, to all the collecting bodies in every country.
But then the artists do not, some of the artists do not get that particular money because they don't know how to.
I won't want to use the word artist now, because now we are in the realm of songwriters.
Yeah,
because
okay.
the master's mechanic is paid to the distributor, so the artists get that. Now, the songwriting part that has both the mechanical and performance will be paid to mechanical bodies around the world, depending on where your stream comes from.
Ah, interesting.
So if your stream is coming from Croatia, it's coming from United States, it's coming from Norway, all the performance rights will pay to all the different countries' bodies. So you can't get it in one place. It's scattered everywhere. That's why it's a bit cumbersome to collect, and also because there's no knowledge about how to collect it.
Yeah, in fact,
there are more than 120 different territories.
120 different musical
So imagine, so for you to collect it, it means you need to register your works in all the different 120 different territories.
Interesting.
So that if anybody stream your music in any of those territories, you can easily collect your performance licensing and your mechanical licensing.
Okay, so I like the fact that you've mentioned the word knowledge, because one of the reasons why we're even having the conversation in the first place is to actually get knowledge on music copyrights. But I realized that a lot of artists do not have this particular knowledge that you have mentioned.
That's
and
right.
It has become something.
Yeah.
Really. I mean, so how do they go about this? Because I know for a fact that talent is what starts the musical journey for a lot of people.
Exactly. I think that's where the problem is. You know, when you want to be a nurse, you go to a nursing school.
Yes.
And learn how to be a nurse.
Yeah.
You want to be a carpenter, you go to a carpentry school and learn how to be a carpenter.
Yeah, you can be an apprentice, but okay.
Yeah, but you learn it.
Yes,
from
you do learn
an
it.
experienced person.
Yes, yes.
But you want to be an artist, somebody will just wake up one morning and say, I'm very talented, and start producing music. All of a sudden he wants to sell it. He has no idea what the music business is. My advice is anybody that wants to do the music business should learn from experts so that they can have an understanding of what they are getting themselves into, so that they will not be exploited. Now, it's not the work of a record label that wants to sign you that's supposed to be teaching you what you're supposed to know. You're supposed to come to the table with enough knowledge to be able to defend your career when you're signing. Even if you have lawyers. How many lawyers are entertainment lawyers? I know only a few.
Interesting.
Only a few lawyers are entertainment lawyers that understand the entertainment business. So even if you are going to get a lawyer, are you sure that your lawyer even understand
The
the
business that you're
music business
in.
to be able to advise you properly when you're signing that contract? So it's better for you to have that knowledge, try to learn, spend money to acquire the knowledge. People that go to nursing school, they pay tuition.
Yes, they do pay tuition.
Yeah, of course. People that go to universities, polytechnics,
Colleges of
college
education,
they pay tuition to learn how to do the work. You're going to a career that has potential of being very big, and then you don't want to know anything about it.
It is a career that is very, very big across the world. And
Yeah.
I really agree with you that you getting that knowledge is so important. But I realized that, I mean, plus the news that we're hearing these days, especially when, you know, an artist gets or has a problem with their record label, then you start to realize that so many things were faulty from the foundation.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if I would like that we jump into that conversation a little bit, but not yet. Let's still do some more conversations on copyright. So now, something that is so dear to me is, you know, putting your content out on media platforms, especially social media platform. And one platform that stands that you know, you would have conversation on is YouTube. Now, if you put content out on YouTube and you put a popular music on it, for instance, let's use P Square.
All right.
And yes, is your popular song, Do Me. And then you put that song on,
And then
you're flagged.
Yeah.
Why?
Okay, it's a way to manage the copyright that YouTube put together. YouTube has a system called Content ID. So every piece of music that is distributed to YouTube, right, YouTube tried to, with their technology, give an ID to every piece of music or every piece of content that is on their platform. So from that ID, they know the title of the music, they know the singer, the songwriter, every information is known. The label, the publishing company, is known to them. So they've already tagged it. So immediately you upload your music, that person's music that doesn't belong to you, their system is going to see it.
Interesting.
Because of Content ID. It's a way to manage the copyright so that there won't be misuse of copyright. And you can, okay, you are using this music, you don't have the right, but we are going to collect the money for this music.
Yeah.
And pay that person, the owner. You know, so it's just a way to manage copyright on music on YouTube.
So I mean, it means that you need to get some form of licensing or a right before you are able to use a particular song on you know, any social media platform, because it's not just YouTube that does it.
In any place, you say music, you make money from music based on usage. So
True.
Any form of usage in the developed world, if you are in a pub or you're in a club and you're playing music, you must collect license to play music in your club.
Really?
It's called broadcast license. You must get it to be able to broadcast music. Even if it's a bar, you're playing music. You are using music. You must pay for the license to use that music.
All right, so I want you to explain this very quickly. You know, earlier when we were talking about streaming services and all of that, we were able to explain, you know, where the money is going to. Now, for broadcast license, where does the money go? Who collects or who is given a broadcast license? And is it on every individual song, or it's a, you know, it's a license that, okay, so you've collected it, you can play any music from any country?
That's right. The way it works is you go to the copyright, the performance rights organizations of your country, and based on their rates, they have rates. So based on the rate they're giving you as a broadcast company, you pay to use music. You're not paying to use a particular music. You're paying to use music for a set of time, maybe for a quarter or for half a year or for one full year. So you've paid the money. So what you do, you continue to play your music. But you must make records of all the music you're playing. You must have a list of all the music you're playing at every time, so that you always send your reports of all the music you ever played to the performance rights organization. So if you have paid this amount of money, So they calculate all the music you've played and then divide that so that they can know what is attributable to one play of music. And then if your music has been played 20 times, they multiply that by 20 and attribute that to your
To
and
your
that's
song.
done at the performance right organizations level.
Okay.
Not the broadcast company doesn't need to be aware of all that.
Oh,
They have
okay.
paid for the license and they can use the music as they want.
So this also applies to radio and
Absolutely.
television.
Anybody that's using music. The only difference, the only people that might have to pay the owner of the copyright directly are maybe when you want to do sync licensing for a film
Okay.
or an advert, because it's just one use of the music. So I just one particular or two music you want to use.
Two
You
songs,
need
one
to
song, yeah.
you need to talk directly to the copyright owners. That's the songwriter or publishing company and the record label or the artist, depending on who owns which rights. So those two rights needs to be paid for. Like I always say, when you use music, you have to pay for two copyrights: the song copyright and the master's copyright.
So there's always discussion has always been on my mind. Who owns a song? You have explained
Yeah.
that we have the camp of the songwriters.
Yeah.
We have the performers. Sometimes, if we're lucky, one person has written the song and performs the song. If we're even more lucky, this person has written the song, sang the song, and is also the record label owner.
Yeah.
But then we also have the producer that we've not even mentioned and
Okay.
all of that. So
Okay.
who exactly in all of this mix owns a particular song?
Okay, good. For song copyrights, the ownership belongs to the songwriter.
Interesting.
They own the song. It could be one person, it could be two people, it could be three people, it could be four people, depending on how the song is brought about. Now, you talked about producer. The way this works is a producer can be a songwriter.
True. True.
When the melody of the music is influenced by their beat. So what does that mean? A
All right.
producer sit down in the studio, created a beat, right?
Yeah.
And an artist or a songwriter comes in, listens to the beat, and
Yeah.
is inspired to write a song on the beat.
Yeah.
Now, the melody of that song is influenced by the beat he's hearing.
True.
So that means part of the melody creation belongs to the producer. So the producer will be listed as part of the songwriters. So in the studio, they need to have what is called a split sheet to divide the percentages in the songwriting that each belongs to each person. So the producer maybe has 20% of the songwriting copyright,
Yeah.
and then the eventual person maybe has 80%. They can have, depending on what they agree to in the studio. Meanwhile, if they don't agree in the studio, very important, if they don't agree to this thing in the studio, and the song becomes a hit, and that producer can claim 50%.
Wow. So there has to be like some form of contract
There
that
must-
states
Exactly.
that, I
This
own the
belongs to
song,
you.
this is
This is your percentage and everything. It's very important. Everybody needs to hear this. You're writing a song in the studio, don't just assume. We're in the business world where digital things have made things easier. So you must have a split sheet.
Interesting.
Everybody must know what belongs to them, the percentage that belongs to them in the songwriting. Now, that's about song. Now, for the masters, the law says whoever pays for the recording is the owner of the masters.
Aha.
So most of the time it's record labels. But if you don't have a record label and you're the one that's paid for you, then that means your masters belongs to
To
you.
you. Interesting. I mean, earlier you were saying something about artists and record labels. It is so good that you mentioned this. That will now bring us to, this conversation on why artists have problems with their record labels. I mean, I cannot say it is 100%. I know that, some people now, so some people leave after the contracts are being done, they leave to now create their own record labels, while, some people actually had major issues with their record labels before they moved on to, find something for themselves. In fact, some people have issues to the extent that they had to change their names from a particular one to another because they still have issues with their record labels. How does this come about?
Yeah, I think it's important to note that how to make money from music is not just from the music perspective alone. You can make money from your likeness, your image, your name. If you're a successful artist, whether highly successful or moderately successful, your name, you can make money from your name. You can make money from your usage of your likeness, your picture. All these things are, most of the time, in a good contract, they are written. So if the record label is signing you, and maybe the record label created the name for you, so they want to own the copyright to the name. Because you get what I'm saying?
Yes.
So if it's already in the contract, you might have a situation where you get out of that contract, especially when it's not amicably done,
you may not use that name anymore.
You might not be able to use that name anymore. So that's where the conflict comes about, because it's not just the copyright about the music alone. There's also the copyrights on the image, your name, your likeness, everything, all those things also part of it.
Okay, there's this other question. People assume that the moment you have your song on streaming platforms, you have made it. Especially, when you'd hear 100 million streams. So, as a layman, I would assume that 100 million streams means $100 million in your account. And I hear a lot of artists say that, no, that's not how it works. I mean, you've already explained, the role of distributing companies and all of that. So how does this, what is the plus and minus?
Okay, yeah. The streaming platform can't pay you $1 for one stream.
Interesting.
They can't. It's a lot of money. 535 naira for just listening to one song. No, but they have a rate system for their stream. Some of them very high, some of them very low. So across each different streaming platform, the prices are different. So it's not a flat rate across board. That's the first thing to note. So what is available, what the price is on platform A, is not the same price on platform B.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? Having said that, there's another level to it. Let's take platform A now. We've already established that they don't have the same prices, right, across board. But on platform A will not pay you the same rates for each of the regions. For each territory. No, they will not. What platform A is going to pay per stream in Nigeria is going to be different from how much they're going to pay in United States. It's going to be different for how much they're going to pay in Ghana. Because every country have their peculiarities. It's the money they're going to make from that country that they're going to divide. The subscription rate in Nigeria is different from the subscription rates in
other countries.
So you can't expect that the money pool that is available in the United States to share with the artists is going to be the same money pool that's going to be available to share in Nigeria. So it's what is available to share in Nigeria is based on how much they make in the Nigerian market. And then after taking their own cut, the remaining cut will be shared based on how many streams have happened in the country.
Interesting.
Yeah. So the rates are different per territory. It's not a flat rate across countries also.
Interesting. So I see why. I mean, does it generally mean that sometimes the rates internationally may be more? Because I mean, I've seen subscriptions. Because from what you have explained, I've seen subscription rates, and subscription rates here is different from subscription rates abroad.
Oh yeah. You can say that again.
So no, it makes, I mean, this is a eureka moment for me, because it makes sense that, a lot of artists are big on international collaborations because it puts them on a different scene. I mean, we can use...
It exposes them to international markets and fan base.
Ah, and then, gives them more streams. So more
Oh, yeah.
streams equals to more money.
In
And
the right countries.
in the right, exactly. No, don't let's use right countries. In other countries, in
Well,
other countries.
don't let me say right countries, but in countries where they're higher paying payment per stream.
Interesting. I mean, in my head now, I'm calculating, Wizkid's song of the summer. I'm helping him do the mathematics. I mean, Wizkid's song of the summer, that is...
Just know that music that Wizkid is a billionaire from that just one in naira, but a millionaire in dollars.
In dollars.
From
Wow.
just that song.
Wow. I mean, for the fact that Justin Bieber was able to jump on that song, it made him skyrocket on the Billboard platform.
Yeah.
Wow.
Number 19 this week.
Number 19 this week, and the streams are increasing day by day.
Oh, yeah.
And he has been introduced to people that have never heard him before, ever, in different
He has
countries.
acquired more fan base, not only in Thames also. Oh, shout out to Thames.
I am so, in fact, I'm so happy that all of these people are doing so well for themselves and pushing themselves out there. That is the dream.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Kolade,
pleasure.
for coming this morning. I've learned so much from you, and I hope our viewers have also learned so much from you. But before I let you go, I want you to advise upcoming artists. All of these things that you've broken down, a lot of talented people don't know it. They don't know it because they think the only thing that is behind, at the back of their mind is they want to blow. And they forget that before you blow, there's so many things that has to be in the mix. I really need you to put a word of advice out there.
What I would advise them is, number one, seek for knowledge. Try to know. You can't just assume. When I talk to them, some people will just talk based on assumptions, not based on any knowledge, and they are totally in the wrong. So try to seek for knowledge. And then the second thing I want to tell you is, it's not about your talent. The talent is just 20%. There are other things that makes artists to be successful. Who are the people around you? Who are your team? Do you have the right people? Are you working with the right people to take you to the next level? That's more important than even your talent. We've known people that are not very talented, really, but they have the right people, and they took them to level of precedented level. So talent is not everything. Talent is good, but you need the right people to take you to the next level. And then also, your personality has to be very likable. You need to, work on that. Let people love you. You try to be very, very likable. Work with people. Be friendly. Don't be a hard guy for nothing. All these things are, because the truth is, music is very subjective. When people like you, there's a high tendency they're going to like your music. But if they don't like you, there's nothing you can do about it. Be the best singer in the world. Look at somebody like R. Kelly now. Nobody's playing his music anymore. You get what I'm saying?
I do.
Your personality influences the level where your music is going to get to.
Thank you so much for coming on the show. The conversation we've been having this morning is on music copyright, and our guest this morning is Kolade Ajayi, a.k.a. Ron K. He is the managing director of Afro Music Pop, and he has been breaking down what you need to know when it has to do with music copyright. As he has said, if you want to jump into the music business, the business especially, you need to know and seek knowledge.